Hey, what's up, everybody? So, I had a nice little meditation thought, if you will, because I was trying to figure out what exactly I wanted to talk about this week. And it hit me that I hadn't really discussed the, or one of the reasons, one of the ways to help embrace and stay committed to the changes that you're making, whether that be sobriety, whether that be seeking help, working on your depression, your addictions, your anxiety, um, things of that nature. So basically, what I realized and what I wanted to share today was when it comes to making a huge change in your life, a change for the better, if you will. There is there is a difficulty looking past the current situation and the past situations that led you up to this moment. And while I know that struggles happen throughout the entire life, and there are, especially, there are some people who can't look back to a moment where they weren't dealing with certain things. What I will say is that when it comes to making that change, sticking to that change, one of the most important things that I did was looking towards the moments where things were good, when things were happy, when I didn't feel exactly this way, when I wasn't dealing with addiction, when I wasn't depressed, completely depressed. I had my moments, which makes sense with the bipolar situation, but um, it means so much to look back towards those moments, whether they be brief glimpses or whether they be years of your life, and figure out what exactly was going on, what exactly were you doing during those moments. Because it is so hard to make a change and stick to it when you're just saying enough is enough, going cold turkey. Going back to moments where things were better, when things were good, where things were decent, even, and trying to get an understanding of what made a difference then, is huge. That is one of the ways that I stay committed or stayed committed early on, was thinking back and examining my life, because we get so caught up in the present circumstances and situations that it's easy to spiral. It's easy to stay in that whirlpool of sadness, of depression, of addiction. And if you can look back towards glimpses of your past where things were a little bit better, you can at least get a sense and understanding of, okay, well, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. uh, why did I stop? Well, maybe because the depression and the addiction and whatever else got in the way. The trauma got in the way. It blinds you. And focus on those moments. For me personally, I went back to Christ. I had religion in my life early on. I still feel a certain way about the church because I've had some terrible experiences with some horrible people. But that doesn't affect my relationship with God. So I went back and realized that that was a time where I had peace in my life, and I now look towards the higher power and pray and meditate and try to find my inner peace that way. I also realized that during my moments of happiness, even when I was going through depression, there was no addiction. There was no drinking for me. There was no trying to escape and find happiness within drugs. There was none of that. So it made it a little bit easier when I decided to go cold turkey, um, to look back and say, well, I know that what I'm doing currently isn't working. I know that in the past that this wasn't a part of my life and I felt a lot better. Okay, well, if the current situation isn't helping, if what I'm doing currently isn't helping, then let me at least try to do what I was doing back when I was in a better spot, a better place mentally. And alongside the video gamer in me, trying to break records in the sense of keeping my sobriety going and looking back and reflecting on how far I've made it, which is huge. Please, 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 even if it's every day, count the days of sobriety, because you'll be shocked how far you get each and every day, when you're tallying it up, when you're starting to realize, well, it's been 2 weeks, it's been a month, it's been 3 months, it's been half a year. Okay, well, shoot, I want to make it to a full year. Just challenge yourself that way, because it does make it easier. Also, though, do not beat yourself up if you do have a relapse, if you do have an issue like that, because it is a part of the journey. I went through a very traumatic situation where I had to be hospitalized forcibly and put into a, I guess, rehab clinic. And shoot, I made it about a month, 5 weeks or so before I end up embracing the drink again, and that hurt. It was all my decision. Um, I did it while friends were in town because I wanted to get back with them, and they brought me a housewarming gift. And I figured, well, I can do it this time. It's a special occasion, what have you. And lo and behold, guess who was back on the addiction train? Um, and that lasted for, doing math in my head right now, for 6 months. 6 months of going back to what I hated, and what destroyed my life for over a decade. And later on in that October, I made the decision enough was enough, and I ended up quitting it altogether. And I haven't had anything since then. I've actually been straight edge since then, which is crazy because I never thought that would be the case. But yeah, just looking back and realizing how far you come each and every day, keeping track of the days, even if it means literally every single day. I was doing that for the first, like, 3 months or so. I was remembering exactly how many days it was before I started counting by weeks, and that really helped me going. But alongside that, for those who are dealing with these issues, don't forget to look to the past, when things were better, when things weren't as bad, when things had a little glint of light at the end of that dark tunnel. It all varies per person. But what was happening around that time? What were you doing around that time? What were you not doing around that time? These are the things that really matter, because those are the things that you can try to replicate or remove from your life to ensure that you are having a better time when it comes to your growth and your development. It's it can be discouraging, I will say that, when you reflect back and realize just how long you've been lost. Um, it hurts. It just, I'm gonna be frank, it hurts. Time is the most valuable thing that we have. It is the most valuable asset. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how good life is. I don't care how much love or hate you have in your life. Best believe there is one thing that we all have in common, and that is that time is always ticking away, and that we do not have control over when that time runs out. So we make the most of it. But reflecting back, it can be a little difficult to realize that you've wasted months, weeks, years on whatever issues that you're going through, because you're not going to get that time back. But what I will say is that you can get your time back going forward. You can guarantee that you're not in those same situations, especially when they're forcibly put on you by you. So don't be afraid to recapture that time in the sense of what you have moving forward, because we can't get the time back in the past. We can't, as much as we like to, we can't get rid of our mistakes. We can't get rid of those negative feelings of depression slash guilt slash shame, because let's face it, it's just a part of the journey. It's part of your testimony, and that's the way I look at it now. My goal is to share this type of information going forward so that others don't have to go through what I went through. And with that being said, there is going to be a lot of regret and shame and guilt that comes along with it because of the journey that you've been on. So if I can help other people not have to go through certain things, if I can help others avoid the pitfalls and traps, if I can help others get better and realize that there is more to life than what they're currently going through with their struggles and depression and addiction, then I'm doing what I want to do. So, with that being said, don't be afraid to seek out help, because I know at the end of the day, trying to shoulder that burden is not impossible, but it makes it so much harder. Don't be afraid to look towards the past, because the past is a good way and indication to understand what exactly you need to remove from your life, what exactly you need to embrace in your life. For example, I had to remove the alcohol, I had to remove the escape that was drugs, although I am for marijuana legalization. I think that would be really good for folks who are going through anxiety or insomnia like I do. But that being said, let me get off the soapbox. Just look back towards that past and realize, okay, this made me happy. This made me content. These were the good moments. What can I do to replicate that? What do I need to remove from my life? What do I need to do again? I found God again because I realized that during these moments in my past, that was a constant in my life. Um, and while I don't embrace the church because of, like I said before, issues with past experiences where it was more about the human aspect, living in the flesh aspect, than it was about living in the spirit, I was able to reconnect, and that helps me find solace. That helps me find peace in moments where things get weird, things get bad. I get tempted to go back to that dark place, to that vortex that has held me down in the deep, deep water for so long. So look back and examine that. And then for those who are dealing with sobriety issues, for those who are going through it when it comes to addiction, count the days, count the days, count the days from when you started. Make it a challenge. Make it something where, okay, I made it a week. That's great. Okay, I made it a month. That's fantastic. Wow, I never thought I would make it here. 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, half a year, full year. Keep it going. And then don't beat yourself up if you relapse, because that is a part of the journey. I said it once and I'll say it again. Do not be discouraged from a relapse. They happen. The worst thing you can possibly do is throw everything out the window and give up, because that is when you truly fail, quote unquote. So continue to move forward no matter what you're going through, no matter the circumstances that are in front of you or in your way, because it is all temporary. Regain that time. That time is valuable and vital to your life, and to quote unquote waste any more of it is the problem that you should be focused on. Don't focus on the past. I know that's easier said than done. I know this from experience because I do it all the time. I ruminate all the time and it hurts. But if you can look forward, if you can appreciate the future that you have because of the work you put in, that's going to be your guiding light. That's going to be what keeps you on your mission. That's what's going to keep you strong during times of potential weakness. So please take this for what it is, which is a little bit of guidance on what exactly I did to get to where I am. Because I'm not coming up on well, I am coming up on 2 years. Um, what month is it? It is basically the end of July. So 3 months, 19 months. I am 19 months sober. Um, and I never, ever in my life thought I would get here. I never thought I wanted to get here, which is even bigger. I thought I had control over things. I didn't. It ruined parts of my life. It ruined relationships in my life. And I wish that I can get that time back, but I can't. So what I can focus on is making sure that in the present, in the future, that I am living my best life to ensure that I have the best version of my relationships with the people that I truly care about. Because for a long time there, I was lost in the sauce. I was lost in my depression. So don't beat yourself up or do that to yourself. Um, well, I had a train of thought and I just lost it. So anyway, once again, focus on the positives of your life. Focus on those good times and determine what you were doing then, what you weren't doing then, and try to make those changes. Take the time to realize that you are going to have setbacks. That is a part of the journey, but to move forward is the most important thing. Even when you have those setbacks, get back on that horse. A righteous man falls 7 times, but he gets up 8. Best believe that that is a motto that you should keep within your heart. That is the scripture that you should keep in your heart when it comes to recovery, because as long as you keep getting up, You're not losing. You haven't fallen back. You haven't failed. It is a part of the journey. And with that being said, know that you're valued, know that you are loved, know that you are appreciated, because I know at times it can feel like that is not the case. It can feel like you are the loneliest person in the room, even when you're surrounded by hundreds. It's okay. Be strong, be focused, and continue to focus on being 1% better each day. Give your best each day. Even if that is 70% of yourself, at least you gave that 70%. And when it can be higher, do higher. When it's lower, do it lower. But just give your all towards living your best life, because no one else can make that change for you. Yeah. Uh, like I said before, I literally can't believe I am where I am right now. And I'm so grateful and blessed to be there. And I hope that whether it's one person or whether it's thousands, I don't really care. But I hope you stumble across this video when you need it most. I hope it offers you some guidance and you're able to start focusing on living your best life for you and for the people that you care about. Don't focus on the past. Don't ruminate. Learn from it, but don't let it hold you back. Focus on the present. Focus on the now. Focus on the future. Know that you're loved. Thank you so much for being here. This is Lando's Lessons. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.